Still haven't received it. Can I make it bigger? Yeah. No. There. How do I do? Is it on mute?
Good morning. We're here on the family law self-represented docket. I want to take a few of the orders that I'm going to enter first, and Mr. Pedro Terrell after that. I'll take your case. So fairly early. Let's take Shauna Ray and Jason Chappelle. Anybody here on that case?
Your Honor, Mallory Smith, the guardian ad litem appointed. I believe that you had set this over to track with a minor guardianship.
That's correct. This will be put over to May 3rd. I did that last week. I'm not sure why it's on the docket for today, but we'll put this over to May 3rd. Sophia Dameron and Dennis Dameron, or Dameron?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. Looks like I have agreed orders, so I will go ahead and sign those. If you can just give me a moment, I'll go through that.
Sure.
I am an acquaintance of one of the lawyers.
21.
I am an acquaintance of one of the lawyers.
I've signed the findings and conclusions about marriage, the final divorce order, the parenting plan, the child support worksheets, and the child support order.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. And Cassandra Davenport and Gregory Reeves. Mr. Reeves here.
Yes.
Mr. Reeves, the
maybe I misunderstood the question. I thought you asked
the minor guardianship issue was over a week yesterday.
I did.
So I need to put this case over a week again.
Or 2 weeks, right?
Was it 2 weeks? Sorry. So
It was the 21st.
so the minor guardianship matter is going to be heard on
I didn't have to go to court about
March 21. And I'm going to put this case over to March 22nd.
Okay. I had a quick question before we go.
It's all I was.
Go ahead.
So
in Idaho, so
from library, let us know now.
I mean, I'm maybe my back does hurt sometimes, but it could just be because
don't know what to do. My attorney's not answering back. I've been trying to serve Cassandra like over 12 times with different people, and I am not having any luck. I tried to contacting the sheriff department, but they said that she can refuse the right to answer the door, and I tried looking out for a company, but they don't serve in this area.
If you need to serve her with something and you are not able to, why don't you make a motion to serve her by mail? Submit that to the court. One of the judicial officers can sign that, and then you can just send it to her by the mail.
I'm usually home. So is that who knocked on the door at 10 o'clock at night when I had my daughter at 10 p.m.
I don't know what time that went, but I've also had throughout the days. I have had.
I'm at work during the days.
Okay. Well,
you can have me served. Well, let's see. I should be home. If you can find out what time whoever's serving me can serve me today, I'll make sure I'm home. Like 4 o'clock. Does that work? I'll make sure I'm home at 4.
Mr. Reeves, if that doesn't work out in the next couple days, again, you can make a motion to serve by mail. That might make it easier.
Okay, I'll try for 4 o'clock to have somebody serve her. So
okay.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I didn't know that. That's a lot of times to be trying to be served.
All right, so I'll see everybody back at the minor guardianship docket on the 21st, and then we'll be back here on the 22nd.
I do.
Okay.
Okay, sounds
All
good.
right. Thank you both.
Bye.
Good morning,
Your Honor.
Good morning. Let me get to my notes here.
Gotcha. I do have a quick question, Your Honor. If I may request a continuance, as I'm in the process of hiring an attorney. I just got a hold of him Monday. His name's Kareem Hamir. And I also wanted to keep you updated on that paperwork. I won't be able to get anything showing that I did it for 6 months. They said I won't be able to get any of my paperwork back until after the academy. They said it's confidential information and that I'd get it all back after. But I do have a lawyer that's going to be representing me soon, Your Honor.
All right. Have you been doing the video visits on Sundays?
Yes, Your Honor. I've only there was only one hiccup. I guess she was at the hospital the first Sunday, but besides that, I've been able to have my video visits with my son.
How have those been going for you?
They've been going good. I know that it's been only 15 minutes, and I like to see my son more. Hoping I can be able to see my son soon, Your Honor.
Yeah. Ms. Carricker, how the video visits been going?
They're good for the most part. I mean, some days Colton's just like not feeling it and he doesn't want to talk to anybody. So it's really hard for Tristan to talk to him sometimes. But other than that, Tristan's been doing his visits like he's supposed to, and he's been on top of it.
Right. Mr. Pedro Terrell, you wanted time to bring your attorney on board. How long do you think you'll need for that?
I'd give me 2 weeks. That way I can catch him up to speed, be able to turn in everything that's happened so far with all the hearings. That way I can be able to give it to him. 2 weeks, if that's possible. I don't normally know how long continuances go. This is all new to me, Your Honor.
Sure. Why don't I give you 3 weeks, and we'll be back here on March 29th. And everything's going to stay the same. We'll keep the Sunday video visits, and then we can hear from Mr.
Would we be able to extend from 15 maybe to 30 minutes?
The question about having sat on a jury before when I raised my number
Somebody's
because I've been
talking.
called for jury duty before, but I didn't get selected for the jury. So I just wanted to let you guys know.
It's there. Do you have any objection to expanding the time of those video visits?
I'm just not understanding why court's got to be postponed due to him getting an attorney. I mean, we've already gotten this far so far. And I just don't understand why we can't just move forward.
How would you like to move forward?
Well, I'm not like, I want to get this court stuff kind of like behind me. I want to start like getting the parenting plan set in place. And I want to start with a better routine for Tristan and Colton and me and Colton and everything.
I would like that also, but we've asked for domestic violence evaluation.
My family and I
for
are
Mr.
leaving
Pedro Terrell, and we don't
Friday
have one.
for a long weekend that's on the books for a couple months.
Your
And
Honor,
there-
I really can't hear you that well over somebody else talking.
I'm looking for who that is, and I'm
Sunday evening.
all right. It looks up here. Let me do this. All right. Hopefully that will help. I would like to move forward also, but we've asked for a domestic violence evaluation.
I may not be available on Friday, depending on if I can sort out childcare for my son.
We're taking the
Correct.
Pedro Terrell versus Carricker case right now. There we go. So
Yes.
the issue is, I don't know that we can go forward at this point until we get at least that evaluation. I know last time I indicated that something from the police academy might work. But I think Mr. Pedro Terrell said he wouldn't be able to get that for 6 months, and that's going to be an issue. So I know I've met with both of you many times. I would like to move into something where you wouldn't have to keep coming back to court. But until I get the domestic violence evaluation, I'm a little hesitant to change things at this point. Okay. So let's come back on March 29th. Hopefully, Mr. Pedro Terrell's attorney will be present and we can discuss things at that point. Okay.
All right,
Yes.
thank you.
All right. We'll see you then. Thank you. All right. Kyle Whis and Carissa Shumate. We had put this. Let me see who's here first. I guess I see Ms. Shumate. Is Ms. Fellows here? There we go.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is Mr. Whis here?
Yes.
All right, great. Thank you. We put this over a week so Ms. Fellows could do additional research into. So Ms. Fellows, I'll turn it over.
I misunderstood. The first time that was asked, I misunderstood the question because I didn't know what LNI was. Because it was in Idaho and they just called it workman's.
Whoever's speaking needs to
in
mute
Idaho.
themselves.
So,
Well, I'll do this.
okay.
Yes, Your Honor. I did reach out to Skamania County
There was a background
Prosecutor's
noise.
Office.
Yeah.
And they did forward me the motion and affidavit for issuance of a bench warrant, which basically is a probable cause statement.
Okay.
It is, looks like
Deal.
there's a number of pages to this probable cause. I also got amended information about the charging information. There are 11 charges. They are telephone harassment, threats to kill.
I mean, I'm maybe my back does
I'm
hurt
getting
sometimes, but it could just be because I'm older now. But it doesn't impact my life really that much. Mhm.
Is that coming from?
Nobody's on our screen that's talking. Is there? There's not anybody talking to your background, Ms. Fellows.
No.
Slipped on a grape in the beer aisle, of all places. Yeah, one grape, and pulled all the hamstrings in my leg, in my right leg. And my case was handled with a little bit of difficulty. I was a little upset with L&I because they harassed me at home. And when my doctor told me not to work, they kept insisting I could go to do something. I could put my foot up on a desk or something and answer the phone. But that's not what my doctor told me to do. So I was a little irritated with them. I didn't go to court or anything. It was just settled with them.
Okay. Were you ultimately able to return to work?
Yes.
And I apologize if you stated this. I heard the part about slipping on the grape in the beer aisle, but what was the particular nature of your injury? What part of your body?
Pulled the hamstrings in my leg.
That's what you said.
And yeah, I did like the German splits.
What's the German splits?
Yeah, they can do it, I can't.
Okay. Okay.
Of all places, yeah, one grape and pulled all the hamstrings in my leg.
It's
in my
not
right
on.
leg. And my case was handled with a little bit of difficulty. I was a little upset with L&I because they harassed me
We got
at
a phone
home.
call in here. We can't figure it out.
And when my doctor told me not to work, they kept insisting I could go to do something. I could put my foot up on a desk or something and answer the phone. But that's not what my doctor told me to do. So I was a little irritated with them, with L&I. So But I did get my case settled and I was medically taken care of. I didn't go to court or anything. It was just settled
The
with
only thing
them.
I think it
You might
was.
need to exit your,
Come
you
back.
might need to exit, Your Honor, and come back in.
Yeah, and everyone, we've got this additional noise going on. So I apologize for this. I'm gonna end this meeting, which means you'll all
Pulled
have
the
to log
hamstrings
back
in my leg.
okay?
And
then
yeah,
hopefully we can
I did
take
like
care
the
of
German splits.
some interesting technical issues. Let's go back to the case of Whis versus Shumate. You were indicating you had checked with, I guess, Skamania County.
Yes, Skamania County Prosecutor's Office, and they did get me some documentation. This is regarding Vincent's former girlfriend. They were in a dating relationship for about 4 or 5 months, it sounds like. They were arguing in the car. She was driving on the freeway. He apparently tried to stop the car by throwing it into park. She ended the relationship at that point in time. That was October 12th of 2022. And then there are allegations about him cyber stalking and things like that. So out of that, there are 11 charges. Telephone harassment, threats to kill. This also has to do with his ex-girlfriend's, a friend of hers. So it was telephone harassment, threats to kill to the friend. And in the probable cause statement, it says that Vincent had threatened to slit the daughter's neck. So that is the friend, the male friend of the girlfriend, threatened to kill daughter's throat and his mother's neck, making the friend watch them bleed out. Very significant concern. Count 2, telephone harassment. Again, that's the friend. Harassment, threats to kill. Again, that's the friend. Cyber harassment, that's the friend. Stalking, first offense, that is the friend again. Then we go, count 6 is telephone harassment, domestic violence, that's the ex-girlfriend. Harassment, first offense, domestic violence, ex-girlfriend. Cyber harassment, domestic violence, that's the girlfriend. Stalking, first offense, DV, girlfriend. Identity theft, second degree, DV, girlfriend, ex-girlfriend. And the last one is attempted theft in the third degree, domestic violence. So those are very significant charges. There hasn't been any resolution at this point in time. So I have very significant concerns about this person being anywhere around Taylor. I do have concerns that the mother has gotten into this relationship. It sounds like she was starting this relationship when Vincent was doing these things. It's just a very significant concern given the past that I know of mom getting into relationships, having Taylor around various men, moving in with them, living with them, and then moving out. So at this point in time, given that past history, I'm actually recommending that any time that the mother have with Taylor would be professionally supervised visits, because I have no confidence at this point in time that the mother, Carissa, recognizes the danger that Vincent poses to both herself and her daughter. I don't feel confident that she would follow a court order. She hasn't followed the court's order about providing information about her address. There's just a lot of concerns, Your Honor. So at this point in time, that is my recommendation, and that any professionally supervised visits, she would be responsible for payment, and that it be close to where the father lives with the daughter, which is in, I believe, Canby, Oregon.
Mr. Whis, any comment?
Yeah, I strongly agree with Beth Fellows' recommendation. That is also my recommendation. There's nothing standing that will show that Ms. Shumate will even be honest about him being around. There's concerns about where she's actually living right now as well. She's been dishonest about that in the past as well. So, and hearing what Ms. Fellows said about Vincent, I don't want that man around our child, period. And I do not trust her to be honest about him being around either. I strongly agree with Beth on this one.
All right, where's Taylor right now?
Taylor is in my custody, and she is currently in school.
Ms. Shumate, any comment on what's been discussed?
Yeah, I haven't lied about where I've lived. I've told Kyle everywhere I've lived. I live with my roommate who I've been friends with since 6th grade. And I only had Taylor around Vincent when I had car troubles.
Not true. You showed up with him on Christmas. I have pictures.
Exactly, because I had car troubles and it was snowing and that rain, frozen wind we had. I didn't want to cause, my tires are bad and I didn't want to cause a car accident.
The pending charges against Vince Taylor are significant. And should Taylor and Vince Taylor ever be together, it seems to the court that could be a threat to Taylor, and the court's primary responsibility, I think, is to keep children safe. I don't think an order that simply says that Vince Taylor will not see Taylor, or Vince will not see Taylor, is going to be sufficient in this case. So at this point, I am going to order professionally supervised visits for the mother, so we make sure that the child stays safe. That may not be but for right now, I think we need to do that to make sure the relationship between the mother and child is okay, and make sure the child is probably those will need to occur at, well, I'm throwing out something, but I know Parents Place in Longview will provide that. The parties could pick another location if they want. Mr. Whis, you will need to cooperate to bringing the child to these visits once they're set up. All right. So I'm going to order supervised visits paid for by Ms. Shumate. Mr. Whis needs to cooperate.
Your Honor, if I may.
Yes.
Since the father and child live quite a distance away, the child being transported for these visits, it's not really in the best interest for that. So if the visits could be even in the Clackamas area, so that's closer to dad, that would be more beneficial for the child.
I'm going to put that burden on the father then. If you can find a location near where you live for the supervised visits, then go ahead and do that. Again, though, Ms. Shumate will be responsible for the expense of that.
I understand.
Okay. All right. I hope that can get set up, and then we'll see everybody back here on April 12th to check in on how that's going.
Your Honor, I've got 2 more motions that I filed for that I thought we were going to work on, or 1 more motion that I thought we were going to do today.
Okay. I'm sorry if I missed that. Which motion was that?
the child support motion.
Well, I will tell you right now, I don't think I'm prepared to go forward on that, and I apologize that that was supposed to be heard today. I will make a note and we'll take that up on April 12th, okay?
Copy.
Is Ms. Antler here?
Yeah.
I see Mr. Antler.
I'm here.
Okay. Ms. Antler, it's your motion, and so I'm going to let you go first, okay?
I am wanting to modify the training plan due to I feel like my kids aren't safe there. There has been some stuff brought up. Obviously, I submitted messages between the father and the daughter, and I'm very concerned about her safety. She has been, and I have her in the counts, like she's getting the support she needs to like overcome that. And my 11-year-old just brought it to my attention that my 14-year-old's ex-boyfriend was himself at dad's house. And so I'm just looking at their best interest right now.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Antler, any response?
Yeah, I'm gonna ask for a continuous because I got served papers Friday at 4:22 in the afternoon, and I was supposed to respond by Sunday, and everything is closed over the weekend. And I went Monday to try to do a response, and they told me I need to ask for a continuous because I only have 3 days to respond.
Ms. Antler, any response to the request for a continuance?
That's fine.
All right. How long do you need, Mr. Antler?
Just a couple of days, but I'm gonna go down to the courthouse today.
Okay, it will either be a week from now or 2 weeks from now.
About a week from now.
All right, that'll be the 15th, March 15th at 9 a.m. I'm not making any changes to the visitation schedule prior to that, but we will take up the motion for adequate cause and the concerns by Ms. Antler at that time. Okay, we were here was December 7th. I don't think Mr. Smith was here. At that time, I ordered professionally supervised visits every other Saturday from 10 to 5. But if they were not exercised, that I would be looking at suspending those visits. So let me go to Ms. Fleischmann first. Have there been any visits between December 7th and now?
No, sir.
You work Saturdays.
Has there been any contact between the father and the child?
Don't you lie?
No, not really. I know Dustin had reached out to him and said Happy New Year's. And then after that, it was Dustin's birthday. Nate had texted him, but it was to an iPod he wasn't using anymore. So Dustin didn't get it until I called Nate asking why he didn't call for his birthday. But other than that, no, there hasn't been any contact.
Mr. Smith, any response?
So the supervised visits, I can't afford them, Your Honor. I don't have the funds for it. Each one of those is $160. I don't have the money for that, Your Honor. I don't. I pay child support. That's killing me. I pay rent. I have a bunch of bills. I'm not making a lot of money right now. I'm just not. And I don't have the money for that. Every single time I go to court, it's more and more things I have to do that cost me more and more money, and I've done everything the courts asked me to do. You guys asked me to do the hair follicles, those things cost me $130, $140 each time I did those. I passed them every time. And I just feel like every single time I go to court, it's just another hoop. And he even actually said, yep, I'm going to do whatever it takes or whatever costs you more money. And I don't understand why.
I'm sorry. I never said that, Your Honor.
I graduated treatment. I've done every single thing. I have not committed no crimes. I work. And I did try to reach out to Dustin on his birthday. I tried to see my son on Christmas. And Ashley
No,
wouldn't
you
let me see my son
didn't.
on Christmas.
And
That
Miss,
is not true.
Miss
Actually, you
Fleischman,
let my son go to my parents' house, to my brother's, and told him if Nate's going to be there, Dustin can't be there. That is what
Mr.
you said.
Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Smith, we're not talking to each other. You're talking to me. And Ms. Fleischman, you need to remain quiet while he speaks. Mr. Smith, go ahead.
Every, I run into people at different places that me and or different people that me and Ashley know, and Ashley, she's on the internet talking bad about me. She talks bad about me to any person that knows me. Anytime me and Ashley have any kind of, I called Ashley and asked her what the court date was, for this, and it's just always hostile. It's super hostile with me and her, and it has been since the shooting incident. And she blames me for that. And ever since that incident, it's been nothing but super hostile, something that I had nothing to do with. And you guys have these visits set for Saturday. I work Saturdays, Your Honor. I work 12-hour shifts at NORPAC, and I work on Saturdays.
All right. Thank you.
I have one Saturday a month off. That's it.
What are your days off?
I work rotating shifts, Your Honor. I don't have my schedule here with me to read through it, but I only have one Saturday a month off.
Okay. Ms. Fleischman, any response?
Also, I want to say is, regardless of whatever me and him talk about and handle, what it comes down in my eyes is he hasn't shown up to the last 4 court dates. He did not call me and ask me about court. I called him on Dustin's birthday, and then I said, "Do you even know when court is?" And he said no. And then, but the way I look at it is he doesn't care, or he would have shown up at these court dates. He would figure out how to pay for these visits. He could have came to me. I want him to be in Dustin's life. I'm willing to help him pay for these visits if he needs it. There's just no communication with me. I am not angry towards him. All I want is him to be a dad to Dustin. I don't care about anything else with me and him as in a relationship. It's for him and Dustin. So in my eyes, it doesn't seem important. I feel like he could have set something up. We could have came to court and he could have said, "Hey, I'm off Wednesday and Saturday, every other Saturday." We could have figured something out, and there's just no steps taken. And
Are you able to communicate through texting or some other means?
do what?
Are you able to communicate with Mr. Smith through
Yeah.
text or some other means?
Yeah, he could communicate with me whenever he needs to. I am not angry towards him, other than the fact he's not doing what he needs. But when we talk, I'm not going to sit here and be angry. I only want it to be good so he could have a relationship with his son.
Okay. Ms. Day, I don't know if you have any update on this case since we
Your
last
Honor, my only update would be that, Mr. Smith did not show up to the prior hearings. And what I heard in the prior hearing that he did attend and today's hearing is just excuses. I understand that supervised visits can be costly, but he could have come with a name of somebody who might be agreeable to supervise on his behalf, some form of schedule, some form of document, some communication, rather than just, I can't do this and I can't do that. When Mr. Smith first got out of jail and began this process, he was very invested in Dustin, and that investment has waned over the course of time to almost non-existent. So instead of doing everything he could to see his son and be a part of his life, he's doing basically nothing to see his son. So I would ask that we come back in 2 weeks or something when he has a plan that says, here's what I can do, what I'm able to do, what I'm willing to do, and then show that he can do that. Because that's how we got here, was he stopped being consistent. He stopped going to the visits, the conflict between him and his girlfriends, and then back and forth between one and the other girlfriend, and Dustin in the middle of all of it. So that's my input.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Day.
What is she talking about?
I appreciate, Ms. Fleischman, your willingness to cooperate with something. And I do need to see something on Mr. Smith's behalf where he's attempting to have a relationship with his son. And so what I'm going to suggest today is that we set up some sort of video visit with him How old is your son, ma'am?
11.
Okay. Do you see a problem with doing something like that?
No, not at all. I mean, this is what we started with, so I guess we can go back to it. My concern is, I mean, at what point does it, I mean, it's already damaging, but like, I just feel like this is just super damaging. Like, he was super involved, like Ms. Day said, and then he just stopped being involved. And now Dustin is to the point to where he doesn't care. Honestly, he does not care whether, of course he wants his dad in his life, but he's accepted the fact that he just doesn't care. And I promised you, I don't put anything bad in his head. This is all his own thing. He's 11 years old. He's not dumb. So I don't know. We could go back to visits. I'm just scared as we're going to end up back to this.
That might happen, but I think at this point, I want to create a way for Mr. Smith to demonstrate that he's interested in Dustin's life. Okay. And if he doesn't take that opportunity, then that will be telling to me and to all of us. It sounds like we can't set a specific date because of Mr. Smith's rotating schedule. Unless.
Isn't it this, correct me if I'm wrong, Nate, but my understanding, I thought it was all this, like a rotating schedule. It's the same, you know what I mean? Obviously just different dates as months change. So I don't know, does it change? I don't know.
Well, I'm no longer on D shift and I'm being trained because I'm moving up in my career. I'm moving to a new department. So some weeks I'm working in O&P, some works I'll be working in SBK and in D Inc. So it switches. It depends on where my training's at. So that's the conflict I'm running into.
I guess
what I'd like is a 1/2 hour FaceTime or Zoom or whatever kind of video visit you can do. And I'm going to have to leave it to the two of you to determine what time that is given the rotating schedule. So I guess, Mr. Smith, you'll need to text Ms. Fleischmann and say, I'm available Friday at 6 p.m. Will that work? Or Sunday at 2 p.m. I don't know what it will be, but I'm going to put that burden on you to reach out to say, this is when I'd like the video visit, and if possible, make it work. If not, put out another alternative date.
Yeah, I'll send her a 2-week schedule for the next 2 weeks of my times off, and she can let me know what works for her and Dustin.
Okay, that's a great idea. And then I'd like to be back in 4 weeks. And what I'd like to hear, what I want to hear at that time is that there's been 4 fairly successful video visits with your son. And then we'll decide what we do at that point.
Okay.
Okay. And it's going to be actually a bit longer than 4 weeks. We'll come back on April 12th.
Yes, I am.
At 9 o'clock. What I have, is a temporary family law order, but it looks like you had also submitted a temporary parenting plan and perhaps some other documents, and I don't have those with me. So I wasn't able to review them. And I think I'd like to do that. So my first, I guess, comment here is, should we put this over 1 to 2 weeks so we can get those documents to the court again? And I'm sorry to put you through the trouble of redoing them, but they're not in the file that I got. Mr. Gray, it is filed here, and so I'm now looking at it. Mr. Gray, did you have a chance to see the proposed parenting plan?
Yes. Also, I did file and was granted emergency custody on January 26th.
No parenting time.
With no parenting time, signed by the judge.
What was happened on January 26th again?
I was granted emergency custody.
Oh,
of
emergency.
Oakland Gray.
All right, that is not in this file.
I was not served with any document stating that he has any custody papers still at all.
She was
Ask a couple
served.
questions. Is it Oakland? Is that how you pronounce your child's name?
Yes, Your Honor.
Where is it? It's a she, right? Where is she now?
She is in my custody right now.
And that's based on the emergency order?
Yes, sir.
All right. Does Oakland see her mother at all?
No, Your Honor.
No, she does not.
Okay. So we're going to do a couple things. Mr. Gray, I'd like you to file a copy of that emergency order in this case.
Okay.
So that I can review it. Secondly, I will print off the proposed parenting plan and have that. Well, I'll be able to review it, but we do need an original parenting plan from you, Ms. Hansen. Okay. So put that together and provide it to the court. Third, typically in a case where there is some dispute like this, I'm going to appoint what's called a guardian ad litem. Has there been one appointed? Well, I guess not. This case just started. So that'll be Twyla Corey will be appointed the guardian in this case. She's actually on the Zoom call. Ms. Corey, maybe if you unmute yourself.
Hi there.
Would you mind giving this couple of your business phone number, and then they can contact you?
Sure. And
Okay.
if their contact information is on the order appointing, I will reach out to them rather than them reaching out to me. That just makes it easier.
Okay. So Ms. Corey will work with both of you to do some background investigation that helps the court. And I indicated we would be back here next week. I think I want to put it over 2 weeks at this point. And for today, Ms. Hansen, I'm not going to change the custody or visitation arrangement. I want to address that in 2 weeks. So I understand you're anxious to see Oakland. But for right now, I think I need to get the information and then make a decision 2 weeks from now. Okay. Okay. All right. Any questions, Mr. Gray?
Yes. When Tanya Hansen came to my house to serve me, her boyfriend's mother tried to kick through her door and assaulted my girlfriend.
When did that happen?
It was February 18th of 2023.
So fairly recently.
Your Honor.
Yes.
This is Candace Abbott. I am the one that served him. Those are false statements.
All right, thank you. Mr. Gray, I'll address that again on the 22nd.
Okay. I also have a witness too.
As well as medical documentation.
As well as medical documentation.
All right, whatever you feel that I need to consider, you can file with the court prior to the 22nd so I can look at it.
Okay, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Ms. Hansen, any questions?
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And
Ms. Corey,
we'll see you back. Why don't you unmute yourself?
Yes, sir.
I addressed the Pedro Terrell and character matter. No changes were made.
Okay.
I put it over to the 29th at 9 o'clock.
Okay, so that Your Honor is aware, Mr. Pedro Terrell's girlfriend, Chanel Pedro Terrell, has a bench warrant out stemming from the incident with the
On the freeway?
Yes, the road rage.
Did she must not have shown for one of her criminal proceedings.
Yeah, I believe that's true. That she was a no-show and a bench warrant was issued, I think, by Judge Scudder.
Okay.
And I will check in with both of those parties again before the next hearing.
All right. I've received the guardian or the court visitor report, which recommends that let me just check here that the full guardianship be granted. All right. Do we have an order? All right. I will then be right now signing the order for the full guardianship. So thank you, Ms. King, and thank you for your work. And Ignastu is here. Mr. Ervig is here. Let a person in.
I was wondering if one of the phone lines was Casey Ervig, the mother.
Is Casey Ervig here? If you're on the phone, press *6 to unmute yourself. All right. Last week, we had some technical issues with Ms. Casey Ervig. We did go forward with the hearing, and I granted the emergency minor guardianship for 60 days. And there were some issues about how the order would be prepared. So we decided to put it on for presentation today. So
right.
We have the original order today. And
you should have that, Your Honor.
I have it right now.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. And Mr. Agnosti, you've run this by Mr. Ervig and obviously yourself.
And the guardian ad litem.
And the guardian, okay.
And I sent it to Casey Ervig.
Okay. I'll note that David McCoy did not appear last week. All right, I've signed the order on emergency minor guardianship. That's good for 60 days from today. And I'm going to write in the expiration date. Just give me a moment to calculate that. That would be May 6th, which is a Saturday.
So does it carry over to the Monday?
No, I think we need to have a hearing on it on May 2nd.
Got it.
So it doesn't expire. If we need to extend it, we'll do it then. So everyone on the Parker McCoy case, we're going to have a review hearing on May 2nd at 10:30, and that will be on Zoom just like. So it looks like the mother, Kendra Rapp, agrees to the emergency minor guardianship, but I'm not sure we have service on the father yet. Is that where we're at?
Correct. Yes, we're still working on servicing the father. I believe Jaden's in there getting the copy of the paperwork right now at the courthouse.
What we need to do then is extend the immediate minor guardianship so that Ms. Woodruff and Mr. Doble continue to have authority, and I guess decide how far to put it out. Do you think 2 weeks would be sufficient, or do you think we should put it out longer than that?
I believe we should have him served today, as far as I know. I would think 2 weeks should suffice.
All right, if you serve today, then 2 weeks would give the father a chance to respond. So let's put it over to March 21 at 10:30, and it will be on Zoom just like today.
Gotcha. And then I don't know if it matters, but we're also simultaneously filing for the full guardianship as well.
That would be a recommendation from me, so I'm glad you're doing that. And then that can be set for a hearing if it needs to be as soon as possible.
Gotcha. Deal with that when it comes. All right.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Ms. Gilmore,
Your Honor, I filed my notice of appearance, I believe, yesterday.
who are you representing?
I represent the father in this case.
Ms. Gilmore, what's your client's position on this minor guardianship?
We're disputing it and we're asking for it to be dismissed in this case. Does the court want to hear a brief argument?
Well, I don't know that I'm going to make that decision today. Typically, I'm going to appoint a court visitor to look into it and then help me make that decision.
So this matter is before the court in front of Judge Fassett in a parenting plan action. It's set for the 14th to review today's hearing and the guardianship. So these parties have an active parenting plan with no 191 factors in this case. Mother has been released from incarceration. She was in jail, my understanding is, for 10 days. And the petition, frankly, doesn't even make any sort of allegations against my client. My client, pursuant to statute, is able and willing to take this child on if the court wants to make a transfer of custody. Alternatively, I'm happy to bring a motion for immediate restraining order and have the child transferred into my client's care. I just don't simply think there's a basis to appoint a court facilitator based on the petition. I did speak with CPS this morning, Tracy Fowler, and she did confirm that the petitioner in this case, Brian Fletcher, has never been given or awarded custody pursuant to any sort of CPS order. So absent this petition alone, this is the sole basis for him having physical custody of the child currently. So we do believe it's not appropriate to continue to have this individual care for the child on an interim basis, given the fact that, again, simply there's no facts supporting a reason why my client is unable or unwilling, and the basis of this mother being incarcerated has been since resolved, as she's clearly out of custody.
Mr. Fletcher, any response?
Yes. Literally, first time I'm not sure what we're doing here, but we're just taking care of the kids, making sure they're safe. And like I say, Lillian just makes bad choices. She's made several bad choices. We got CPS involvement, signed agreements, and it just sucks. You can't turn your back on her. So, like I said, it's a rough situation. But
what about what's going on with the father?
We're fully on board with McCaven. We have facilitated visiting. There's open communication. We 100% understand, and we like McCaven being in Maverick's life. But there's also Serenity we have her also, her other child.
And I will note that yes, Serenity is not the biological child of my client. I frankly don't know who the biological father of that child is. So my argument's pertaining strictly to Maverick.
Yes, and we fully are on board with that. We understand that.
Your Honor, am I going to get a chance to speak here?
Who's the one? We need to establish from the phone number is Brian Fletcher, right?
Yes, this is my device, 360-560.
Who else was? Okay. From the phone, that would have been Tracy Hendrick, I believe. Okay.
Correct.
She's
with Brian Fletcher.
Right.
Your Honor, am I going to get a chance to speak in the matter?
Okay, please go ahead.
I just want to let it be known that being incarcerated, that was the first time I've ever been away from my children. I love my children very much, and right now it has been a struggling point. But to be honest, my children don't even know these individuals. They are considered Grammy and Grandpa, but they're not someone who I've steadily been around or spent very much time around, and they're not someone who I feel as my children should be around, especially considering they've never been away from me, and that they will not let me see them. And I have stability right now. I have fixed my wrongs and stuff like that. I fixed all of my state assistance and did everything I needed to do. I did not mean to get incarcerated. Of course, it was from a matter from 2019, and it is now done with and finished, and my children will never be in that situation again. And I appreciate the help that they're giving me, but not allowing me to see them, not allowing me to do anything like that for myself is really coming between me and my kids. And I would like to hopefully gain my children back today and be able to do what I need to do through you, the steps or whatever it's going to take to get that to happen. But I was hoping it would happen today.
Let's address Maverick first, and going to Mr. Fletcher. At this point, do you see a need for the minor guardianship for Maverick, as opposed to letting Judge Fassett determine what the parenting plan will be in, it looks like, a week from now?
Yes, yeah, that sounds perfect.
Need guardianship.
Yeah, we need guardianship.
Yeah.
And I'm here
Kidnap children on the 28th.
and away from them besides.
Okay.
What I could possibly suggest for the court is, I did speak with Tracy Fowler, and she, again, as an officer of the court, I'm just providing this information. She indicated that she did have concerns about transferring immediate custody back to mother. She didn't relay specifically what those concerns were. What I would recommend is potentially maybe entering some sort of interim order that allows my client to bring an immediate restraining order. Upon that being granted, potentially then the transfer of custody would occur at that point. I do agree that potentially it's not in the best interest of the children to be placed with mother immediately as of today. And I don't know if the court has necessarily authority to give the child to my client. But based on my argument, I don't think that for Maverick, there's substantial facts to support that both parents are unable or unwilling to care for the child. My client is able and is willing to do so.
Okay. That may ultimately be the case, Ms. Gilmore, but a case has been brought before this court alleging concerns about both parents relating to both Maverick and Serenity. And the court has a duty to follow through on that. I've heard arguments from everyone. The petitioners still want to go forward. And so I think we need to take steps in that direction. So here's what we'll do. The court has already entered an immediate emergency minor guardianship order in favor of Mr. Fletcher and Ms. Hendrick. I'm going to extend that to the date of the next hearing. We'll figure out that date in a moment. I'm going to appoint a court visitor to investigate this matter. And is Vashti Langford here? I'm going to appoint, the next on the list is Sherry Farr. We need to give the court visitor some time, but in light of what's happening in the family law case, I think we need a subsequent hearing on March 21. And I guess Ms. Gilmore is thinking of bringing a subsequent action, and then I'm not sure what Judge Fassett will do at that point. So we'll be able to determine that on March 21. And my last note on here was visitation. It sounds like Ms. Gilmore's client is able to see Maverick on a regular basis. Is that right, Mr. Fletcher?
Yes, sir.
What about the mother?
No, he allowed me.
She what?
He has not allowed me to see my kids, and I've tried every single day since the order has been placed.
Okay. All right. Well, then we're going to have to wait on that.
He kidnapped her children. Wait, on February 28th.
I was
she
unaware.
Knew she wasn't supposed to be with her children, and she had her mother grab her kid from school. She grabbed her daughter from here. We had to involve the police. They went to an undisclosed location, hid them from us. That was just on February 28th. We had to get the police involved. The father was involved, so we don't trust her.
To both parties. Both parties. I understand the issue. I've heard enough. I'm not going to litigate that issue, but I've heard enough to say we won't have visitation with the mother pending the March 21 hearing. Okay. All right, so we'll see everybody back here on March 21 then, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, hey, what time?
10:30 on Zoom, just like today. Is it looks like the mother is here, Monique Barnes. Is Roy Levitt here or Gail Levitt?
Gail Levitt.
Gail Levitt is here. Okay, thank you. I've read the file, and I think this case does need to move forward like the other one did. And so what I would propose is, again, I need to appoint what's called a court visitor, which is to assist you with the case and give me some information and help you with service if you need help with service.
We served her last night, if that's what you're talking about.
Okay, what about Gary Lewis? Has he been served?
I'm not serving him because he's the one that gave Lance to me.
How did he give Lance to you?
He just brought him and dropped him off at my house.
Well, he's still entitled to service of this petition.
He's actually here with me right now, sir.
Okay, well, then if he's in agreement, he can sign what's called a consent.
Okay.
And you can either get that from the clerk's office, or if you have a computer, you can.
I'll just go to the clerk's office.
Okay. Ask them for a consent form, and then Mr. Lewis can sign that.
Okay.
I'm going to appoint a person named Tina Day as the court visitor.
Okay.
I saw Ms. Barnes. Do you have any comment about what I'm doing? The court is appointed.
Hello?
There you are.
I'm sorry, my headphones weren't working. I was trying to start them. Sorry about that. Yes, I do have a couple things to say. As I was moving, I had Gail Levitt call CPS and the police on me. CPS is closing my case currently because there was no findings of anything. All this is just allegations, and they're all false. I have a place to stay that I have witnesses of. I also have had my child. She's only had him 2 nights. And I have witnesses and proof of that. Also, his father, Gary Lewis, claimed him on his taxes when I have proof that he lived with me all year long. And a couple more things. I also have a appointment tomorrow with the women's shelter to get the rest of the paperwork that I need done. I have already been filing with the courts. So I will also be there to finish getting the rest of the parenting plan together. And that's pretty much all I have to say. I just miss my son and would like to see him. And I'm not here to take him away from anybody, but I don't think it's fair that I haven't been able to see him or talk to him. That's all, sir.
All right, thank you. I'm glad you were able to take care of the connection.
Yes, thank you for hearing me. You have a blessed day.
So again, when a petition has been brought before the court, then the court has an obligation to look into it. So for right now, I'm going to appoint Tina Day to do an investigation.
Okay.
And so we'll cooperate with her. I'm going to extend the immediate emergency minor guardianship to the next hearing. I'm going to set that for March 21. That may not give Ms. Day enough time to do a full review, but I do want to check in on things on that date. So that'll be March 21 at 10:30 on Zoom, just like today. And I think,
so even though I've
just a minute, Ms. Barnes, go ahead.
So even though I've had restraining orders and this has been a ongoing domestic violence case that I've been dealing with, and they have continually tried to take my kid, just go about doing the paperwork and filing that.
I think
the women's
you're
shelter?
entitled to do that if you want to do that. But the
Well-
court will know about this case and we'll have to coordinate what goes on. Okay. For right now, from what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave Ms. Levitt as the guardian of Lance Lewis.
Thank you.
And so do I have a restraining order or am I don't understand what that part is.
It means that the court has enough information that we're giving temporary custody of Lance to Ms. Levitt. And I don't want that. I want to check back fairly soon on all of that. And so that's why I'm setting a hearing for March 21. All right, then I will do those orders and we'll see you back here on March 21 at 10:30.
That's not someone that's.
Thank you very much, sir.
Hey, excuse me. I got text messages all week stating that I had a 11 o'clock appointment. I'm sorry, stating that it says reminder, you have a court date at Cowlitz County District Court, 3/8/23 at 11 a.m.
Okay, sir, this is a Superior Court docket. So you need to go back into the court website, the district court website, and find the correct docket that.
This is Superior Court, correct?
Well, you just read district court from your note.
Oh, okay. District Court. Yes, sir. So this is Superior?
There's
The
two
wrong one.
types of courts, one's district and one's superior.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Superior Court. If you go back out to the Cowlitz County website, go to departments and click on District Court, that will lead you to the right Zoom meeting. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
And our final matter on the docket today, Your Honor, will be number 3, State of Washington versus McKenzie Durham 08. Ms. Durham was present at her last review on February 8th. At that time, she was ordered to complete alternate purge conditions if she could not make her full purge payment of $200, to pay a minimum of $50, do a job search and work log, complete skills and abilities analysis, resumes and cover letters, as well as interviewing. There has been no payments to her account. We have not received any alternate purge condition information. Ms. Durham has made a habit of appearing on occasion and then failing to appear for multiple hearings in a row. So this time the state is requesting a bench warrant for Ms. Durham. She's not complied with any of her previously ordered alternate purge conditions. She's not made any payments. So we're asking for a bench warrant with bail set in the amount of her full purge amount of $200.
Your Honor, I know she was here the last time. I did send her an email, and I don't have any other current information to give the court.
All right, given at this point a lack of response, she was ordered to pay $50 minimum this month. That has not been paid. None of the purge conditions have been satisfied, and it looks like there hasn't been any contact with Mr. Angelico, at least not recently. So based on that, I'm going to issue the bench warrant with bail set at $200.
Thank you, Your Honor.
If you provide that to my office, then I'll sign it.
We will. Thank you, Your Honor.
Good morning. We're here on self-represented family law docket B on March 9th. I'm Commissioner Dave Nelson. When we were last here, I think I needed Ms. Miranda to do a hair follicle test within 14 days, and I haven't seen the results. Ms. Height, were you provided any results for that?
I was not, Your Honor. I checked yesterday afternoon thinking something might have been filed, but I have not found anything or received anything.
Ms. Miranda, were you able to have that test done?
Good morning, Your Honor. So I called Columbia Wellness and a couple other places, or excuse me, Occupational Health and Lower Columbia Wellness. The test is to be for alcohol use. I talked to Laura and a couple other people, and they said they do not test for a hair follicle for alcohol. They only do urine tests for that. And they said they're more than welcome to let anybody know this. They asked who referred me to get this test and for what reason. I let them know that it was in Miss Height's report, and Laura at Occupational Health said Miss Height should absolutely know that they do not have the labs and they do not do hair follicle tests for alcohol. So she said in our hearing, I did this within the 2 weeks as necessary. She said within our hearing, I could ask if there's a recommendation of a lab anywhere near here that it does. And again, that she is more than happy to explain that as well.
Ms. Height, any response?
I know that she can get the testing done. If it's not a hair follicle, it could be an observed urine test, like within 2 hours of when you order it.
And Your Honor, I have absolutely no problem doing that. That is why I wanted to ask you in this hearing if that was an alternative, because it does specifically ask for a hair follicle test. And I know that those results look different, and I know that they show a different duration of time. So I wanted to know if that would be suitable to absolve that request, because I'm more than happy to do that as well.
I was surprised, Your Honor, to hear that from Occupational Health or through Occupational Health. I believe we have had this testing done in previous times. It perhaps is just a misunderstanding. I don't know specifically what to tell you. We've done the hair follicle test with the additional part of it being for alcohol testing, but perhaps it's just being called the wrong thing. I don't know.
Again, Your Honor, I'm more than happy to do anything necessary. I spoke with multiple labs in the area, and they were very confused of the request, said they're happy to do the urine if that would absolve the concerns of the ad litem report, but that their labs only test for drug use and not alcohol for the hair follicle. And she said she's happy, or excuse me, Laura specifically at Occupational Health said she's more than happy to talk to anyone needed to explain the same thing she did to me.
All right. Well, it seems to me if we're looking at alcohol use, a UA should give us a window, at least into the current use, that there is any. I'm assuming there won't be, but that's what we're trying to confirm.
Correct.
So why don't we have you do a UA test? Do you think you can get it done by tomorrow?
Yes, actually, I could either do it today if I can make it to my work training on time just after, or I can get it done by tomorrow morning. That's no problem. The reason, Your Honor, I discussed this before is that this will be paid for out of pocket. So I wanted to make sure prior to taking the test that it would be seen as, a reasonable accommodation for the request prior. And I also know that the urine can test and come back pretty quickly. So I wanted to make sure if I do take that test that the court would see this as absolving the request.
Okay. All right. Well, let's have you do that by tomorrow, and then provide, if you get the results, provide that to Ms. Height.
Okay.
And also it should be filed with the court under seal. Okay.
Under sealed documents. Okay.
All right. And so while we're talking, you were also working on a domestic violence evaluation. How is that going?
That is going well, Your Honor. When I spoke with you last, I told you I would have to ask her time duration. I have submitted all the requested paperwork and been in communication. I've submitted the payment in full. When I spoke with her originally asking her how long, she said there are 8 cases in front of mine. So at that time, which was the day of our last hearing, she said it could be anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks. I spoke with her spoke with 2 individuals in their offices yesterday so I could be prepared to give an update at court. They said that everything has been received. Some of the paperwork is scaled by a computer testing result, which is still pending, and that they will call me for any further questions and for further interviewing, and then be able to submit their final report to the court. However, I was told that they should.
Miss Miranda, this is unrelated to you. I need to interrupt you.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. Sasa Barad, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, I'm here.
You're supposed to be in a settlement conference, and that is not this docket. So I need you to leave this docket, go back to the Superior Court Zoom meetings, and there should be one that's specifically for your mandatory settlement conference.
Okay, because I'll double check that in a second. I was just under the impression this was for. So I will back out.
You will be with Judge Michael Evans in that conference. If there's a problem, call court administration. I don't know if you have anything to write with it. The numbers, they will help you get connected. Okay. So there's 8 cases ahead of you. You've turned in the paperwork, you paid the money, and we're waiting for
it's our final results and our final interview.
Okay. You don't have any idea how long that will be?
Well, I was told at the very beginning when I asked 1 month ago today how long, again, she said 6 to 8 weeks. So my hope is that any day now. When I spoke with them yesterday asking, they were not done. I believe I have moved up in that line because it has been 4 weeks. But again, they have everything they need from me. I am just at the mercy of their schedule and their caseload and waiting for them to complete my paperwork and interview.
Okay.
Your Honor, I would also note that there was to be collateral input from Mr. Estrada and from the GAL.
I did provide on that paperwork, it asks who asked for, what situation brought me to that interview process and that evaluation. I did provide on that paperwork, to the best of my knowledge, that information for those individuals or for Mr. Estrada and Ms. Height to receive the results and be able to put input in. I don't honestly, outside of my interaction with them, know the duration of time on that. I'm assuming that's all within what their idea of is completion when they told me 6 to 8 weeks, 4 weeks ago. But the information has been provided for them to have the opportunity and be contacted on that case.
Okay. Mr. Estrada, any input you'd like to give today?
It just seems like this has just continued to be dragged out. So I'm hoping that we can have some type of a resolution, in a, good amount of time here. It continues to carry on. And there's always, some type of reason why things can't be completed or whatnot. But I did start my domestic violence counseling as the victim, and I've got that started and documented, and it's ongoing. So.
All right. I think down the road, the visitation to Ms. Miranda will probably increase. I'm not willing to make that decision until I get the evaluation from the domestic violence folks that are doing the evaluation. I am interested in the results of the UA. to make sure that's clean.
Your Honor, I will actually go today to go ahead and make sure that that is completed and submitted. I have no issue with that. I believe it's on a walk-in basis for something like that. I don't think there should be any necessary appointment, and submit that payment so everything can be complete. And as far as the rest goes, I completely agree with Mr. Estrada. I mean, it doesn't serve me to be separated and have less visitations with my children. And that's really all, I want. So, or with my son specifically, who's on this case. And I know he wants that as well. And, so it's not at my personal request that this is taking longer. Again, I continue to do everything that's requested and hoping that others that are involved for these, evaluations and tests like that can also get them done. I don't really want this dragged out myself. Again, it doesn't serve me either. I mean, I think it serves me the least. So with that said, it's not that I don't want to have these things done. I absolutely do. I don't want to be, doing this, taking the time off work and not seeing my child either.
Right. So do the UA, get the results to Ms. Height. Ms. Height, would you mind emailing that to me once you get those results?
Yes, Your Honor. I will do that.
And what I'd like to do is get back together on April 13th. Hopefully that will be enough time for the domestic violence folks to do their evaluation. I'm not going to make a change prior to seeing what that evaluation is. So everything will stay the same. And then we'll look at things on April 13th.
I did have one question, and I'm very sorry if I missed or misunderstood this in the report about breaks and holidays as they have changed since our previous arrangement, pending these things. I know that spring break is coming up, and I'm just not sure what that looks like as far as who will have the children. And I'm sorry with all the processes and all the paperwork if I had missed what that recommendation was.
I don't think there was a recommendation about spring break. It was the first and third weekends.
Okay, I just didn't know how that pertained to, holidays and breaks. And, as it stood prior, Mr. Estrada has had them for every holiday and break leading up to this, including Christmas break during our original arrangement, which then led straight into this difference in custody schedule. So I went almost, a month really without seeing them and then going into this more limited schedule. So I just want to know what that looks like. I'm trying to look at the exact dates, but I do believe that it will cross over prior to that next hearing, but maybe not. I'm looking right now. So spring break starts on the 3rd.
Right.
But actually, so it would be the 3rd and be completed by the time we meet again. So I was just wondering what that may look like or what the recommendation would be.
Right now, I'm not going to change the recommendation. So it's going to be the first and third weekend.
So whatever it looks like during that week. Okay.
And again, those are aspects of the parenting plan that will need to be addressed in more detail at a later time.
Okay.
But I'm not willing to make a change until, again, I see the evaluation.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So I guess we'll see you back here on April 13th then. Yep.
Can I ask Ms. Height a question while we're here? Ms. Height, how would you like those results delivered to you so that they're to you in the most timely manner possible for the UA?
They need to come to me directly from the testing facility.
Okay, and just give them your forwarding, and I'm sure they have it there. So,
you can just sign an ROI and have them email that to me.
Okay, I will do that then.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you for your time, everyone.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Estrada. Thank you, Samantha Matson.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Hi.
Good morning. I actually called your case first. Mr. Warren was here. We're just checking in to make sure you're ready to go forward to trial.
Yeah, I was having issues getting on. I apologize.
Okay. So the trial is the week of March 27th. The next court day after today is called a readiness hearing on March 21 at 11:30. Do you have any issues with going forward to the trial date on that day?
No, I just want everything to stay the same as what we had before on the parenting plan, including the restraining order.
All right. So that's something that you'll have to address when you get to trial and explain that to the court.
Okay.
And that's what Mr. Warren was willing to just go forward to go to trial. So the next date then that you need to be on Zoom is at a readiness hearing. It's called the Universal Readiness Hearing.
Okay.
On March 21 at 11:30.
Okay. I have a question. So does he have an attorney, or do I just still serve papers directly to him?
So far, you'd serve it directly to him. He is trying to get an attorney, and you would get notice of that once one was appointed.
Okay. Yeah, I was just making sure because I haven't heard anything of it. I just heard that there was like an attorney that was supposed to be appointed eventually or something. So
that has not been done yet. I can tell you that, but it may be between now and the readiness hearing.
Yeah, because I was confused. So I'm gonna get together because I've been working with the Northwest Justice, or is it the Justice Project, or Wakayakam? Yeah, so that's who I've been working with in the beginning since I started court. They were helping me get all the proper paperwork. So I needed to know before I got everything else together and who I needed to serve.
Okay, right now it would be him directly.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Okay, any other questions?
No, I guess I'll see you. Or would it be a different judge?
It may be somebody different, but you'll need to be back on March 21 at 11.
Is it the same docket, the self-represented docket B?
It's not on March 21. It's going to be called the Universal Readiness Docket.
Oh, so the one that we went to before we did the continuum. That one?
I don't think you've been on the readiness docket yet.
Oh, okay.
That's a docket where they're going to tell you the exact date of your trial and who is going to hear it.
Okay.
Okay, because we set these during a whole week, and then we fit the trials in where they work the best.
Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. You have a wonderful rest of your day.
All right. Thank you. Was served personally on February 13th, 2023 with all of the documents.
Yes, sir.
Including the notice of hearing. So he would have been aware that this hearing was scheduled. Okay. And I don't know if you had any conversation with him, but
no, I have a protection order against him, so I have not been in contact with him.
Okay.
But I know he was served properly, so he had adequate time for a response and for, to be here.
And I'll note the court file does not show any response from him. You're asking for a temporary family law order.
Yes,
and so based on the fact that you properly served him, I believe I can enter these orders. Before there can be a final dissolution. If he does not respond, he hasn't responded, you're going to have to file a motion for order of default with the court and get the default before the court can enter final orders. Okay.
Okay.
All right. And then I believe in the I did the protection order on February 13th.
Yes, sir.
That was subject to a family law order, whether there was visitation with the children. So I'm going to enter a parenting plan today that says there is to be no contact between Mr. Hall and the children. But that's on a temporary basis. And should he come in, provide the, go through the treatment that you're suggesting, then that would be revisited at some time in the future. Okay.
Okay. And I will be notified if he does what I'm asking and there needs to be another court hearing.
There would have to be another court hearing where you're given notice and everybody is here. I can't, you've given him notice, so I'm okay signing these orders, but if he comes back to court, he's got to give you notice.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. And for the record, I'm going to note that there's nobody in the waiting room, and Mr. Hall is not here.
Okay.
Okay. So just give me a moment. I'm going to sign these orders.
Okay. Now, do we have to serve him with this stuff from today?
You should, yes.
Okay.
You've asked for appointment of guardian ad litem. I think that's a good idea.
Absolutely.
And, Madam Clerk, who are the names that we have? So I'm going to appoint Keith Lawrence.
Okay. Yes.
He's not working. I am entering a child support order based on imputed income, but the guardian ad litem just simply is not going to do anything unless they know they're going to get paid. And the only way I'm going to be able to do that is to have the county pay.
Okay.
So I'm going to cross out your 100% by respondent.
Okay. And does that start regardless, like the GAL of him not being able to have any contact with the children?
Yeah, that will take place regardless. Mr. Lawrence will interview both parties.
Okay.
And the children and determine and recommend to the court whether what type of parenting plan we should look at, if any, in this case.
Okay. So as it stands, then it still remains just as the protection order where I have full custody and
it does
no interaction from him. Okay.
It won't change until the court makes a final decision in this case. So Mr. Lawrence's report will help the court reach that decision. I've signed a temporary family law order, a temporary parenting plan, the Washington child support worksheets, the child support order, the order appointing guardian ad litem, and Mr. Lawrence will get that today or tomorrow.
Okay.
And then the restraining order that you requested, I've also signed.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Now, so I need to come and pick that up, but does he have to be served all of this information from us as well, just like in the previous?
I would make a copy if you could, and at least send it to him in the mail if you know where his address is.
No, I have absolutely no idea where he is. We had to serve him electronically to finally get the restraining order served because he has been completely MIA.
Was he?
I had a couple of addresses in which I suspected he might be at in Kelso, so we had transferred the protection order information over to KPD, and they were unable to serve him as well.
These documents were given to him here when he was up at the courthouse.
Yes, absolutely.
Otherwise, you don't know where he's at?
No, I have no idea. And he was evading service as far as just the protection order as it stood. So I don't know how we would serve him.
No last known address?
The house that him and I and our children resided in, but he is no longer a resident at that address. And there has been no forwarding address put in place.
Okay, well, if you happen to learn where he's at, then I would encourage you to send these documents to him.
Okay.
If you don't know, then you can't do it, I guess.
Okay. Are we able to serve him with these papers electronically as we did with the protection order finally?
So I don't know that you formally have to serve him. I think it's a good idea. So that means if you know an email address, sure,
Yes.
go ahead and scan them and send it to him. So he knows
Perfect.
what's there.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right. I'm not going to set a review hearing, although I encourage you to do an order of default. And when you're ready to go to a final hearing, you'll need to do a notice to put it on the universal trial setting calendar. But I'm just telling you that the next step then is there'll be a review date in my order appointing Mr. Lawrence. So we'll be back to court on that date. Maybe I should tell you what that will be now, or April 13th. I need to check in with him to make sure that the investigation has started, that he's been able to contact the parties, things like that.
Okay.
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 Okay. Any other questions?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. And it looks
you so
like, are you Ms. Crookshanks?
Nope, I am Teresa Chaddick, the one trying to get rid of my guardianship.
Okay.
I don't know where Haley's at.
Good morning, Your Honor. Mallory Smith, court visitor. I did speak with Ms. Crookshanks yesterday evening and did inform her that there was a hearing today. She confirmed that she knew it was going to be occurring.
Okay. So I understand Ms. Crookshanks is the mother and wants, and Ms. Chaddick wants the non-parental custody order terminated. I'm concerned the father has not been served in this. And have you been able to determine anything?
So yeah, the last appointment with the judge was a month ago, and he assigned Vashti to it, which then she had to transfer care over to Mallory. This was not done until she contacted me yesterday. So I had a whole month of waiting, and nothing got done. And the judge last time appointed me a court person to do this, which she was given the phone number, the phone number of the girlfriend. So I don't know where Dad is, and I don't know if he's responded to Mallory because she reached out last night.
Well, I guess the question I have, and maybe Ms. Smith can help me address this, is if we terminate the non-parental custody order, then custody will go back to Ms. Crookshanks. If the dad wants to pursue visitation after that, he could do that in family court. So I don't know that I'm changing his rights by simply terminating this.
He's been in and out of prison and been MIA he hasn't reached out to Noah in 2.5 years because he went back to prison. And frankly, we gave him a shot at having Noah 2.5 years ago. And he was on meth, and he left the kid with the old lady with dementia. And the kid was in piss-filled clothes for at least 5 days when I found him walking around the apartment complex and took him back.
Let me hear from Ms. Smith.
Okay.
Please.
Your Honor, in reviewing this matter, I did review the prior non-parental custody matter. Within that, the visitation for both mother and father were left to Ms. Chaddick's discretion. And as Ms. Chaddick indicated, she has made it available. She has made visitation available for both parents. At this point, the termination of this non-parental custody would afford father effectively the potential for more access to the child should he just decide that he wants to participate in that capacity. Both Ms. Chaddock and Ms. Gripshanks are in agreement with the termination of the non-parental. From what I've discussed with Ms. Chaddock and Ms. Healy, there's been efforts made for Ms. Gripshanks to establish herself more. She's currently residing with friends, but is working towards getting her own place. Ms. Chaddock indicates that she's fit to serve as the primary parent moving forward, and both parties are motivated to execute the termination of the non-parental custody.
All right. So do you feel it's appropriate to terminate it today?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. All right. I will agree then. I'll terminate the non-parental custody arrangement. I don't have an order with me. I think I'll we may have an order here. Good. Let me go over a couple of the changes I made. First of all, I indicated the hearing was today. You had written in the date when we were last here, which was February 9th. I indicated that Teresa Chaddock, I believe that's right.
Yeah.
And Mallory Smith were present. I indicated the children can be returned to Haley Crookshanks by today at 5 o'clock. And you also said whenever it's terminated. So whenever that works out conveniently,
right,
that'll be fine. You did mark that the court approves the request to change the minor guardianship or non-parent custody order. I've taken that out because we're terminating it, and you've indicated the new guardian is Haley Crookshanks. We're actually just getting rid of the guardianship and leaving the mother
right,
as the parent at this point.
yeah. And he doesn't have to leave today. Whenever Haley's ready. I mean, I'm not throwing the kid out.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah, I'm still here for him.
Okay. And then on discharge, I changed that. You said it did not apply, but at this point, I'm going to indicate the guardian ad litem is discharged in this case. Okay. With that, I've signed the order, so should be terminated. And I hope.
Do I get record of that in the mail or anything?
Well, it's not going to be sent to you as a matter of course. If you want to come up to the court, I would say Monday, it will be in our system and they can print it out and give you a copy of the order.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. I mean, I'm his payee and, you know, I do his meds and everything. So, you know, they said I'd be able to stay on for that stuff. I mean,
it doesn't prevent you from that as long as now Ms. Crookshanks agrees.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Right. Thank you. First of all, Mr. Anagnosti, did you have a chance to speak to your client after your appointment?
I did not. Attempted to contact Coyote Ridge and get that set up, and then got sidetracked and wasn't able to get a time set up before today's hearing.
Okay. And then obviously I ordered a paternity test, but you haven't been able to talk to your client about that.
Right. I was wondering if we could set this matter over a couple of weeks. Yeah.
Okay. Ms. Hicks,
I guess I have a question, Your Honor, because I haven't been through this before, but can he get paternity tested while at Coyote Ridge?
I don't know that that's possible.
Okay.
And do you know if he's getting out shortly? I thought he was getting out shortly.
That's my understanding, according to the declaration that he filed, is that he's getting out shortly. So, no.
Yeah. So that probably has to occur after he gets out. Ms. Hicks, if I put this over again, and sometimes we have to put these over a few times, I'm going to reissue the immediate emergency guardianship so that you'll retain the authority that you currently have.
Thank you.
Okay. So with that, are you okay with putting this over a few weeks?
Yes, that's fine with me.
Okay. Anybody else on the guardianship of Hicks McKnight?
Yes, this is Tina Day, and I have no objection to sending it out a couple of weeks. That would give me time to finish my report and to disseminate it to everyone.
Okay. I'm thinking of actually going a little bit longer to April 13th. So let's go to April 13th. I think the father had indicated he was going to be out of prison in March sometime. So hopefully that'll give Mr. Anagnosto a chance to contact. Put it over to April 13th. I'm going to leave the current orders in place. In particular, if you do contact him, he needs to do a paternity test.
Okay, got it. So that's the court's order.
That's a court's order, yeah. Sorry,
Got it.
Nikki. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Ms. Sullivan, I think you're here at the courthouse.
I am.
All right. Anybody else on that case? All right.
His mom is.
Is that the mom?
Yes, it is.
Michelle Sullivan. Okay. Thank you for
Yes.
being here.
Mm-hmm.
I think Miss I'm talking to the petitioner now. I think Lily Sullivan.
Mrs. Sullivan, and that my daughter is Miss Sullivan.
Okay, Mrs. Sullivan. Apparently you needed to file another petition, which was done yesterday.
Yes.
And that will need to be served on your daughter, even though she's been served with the old one.
She was served with the new one last night.
Okay, good.
The father, we couldn't get served the new papers by today.
Okay. So what I typically do in a case when it first starts out is I will appoint a court visitor, it's called. And their job is to help you get all that procedural stuff done. That's appointed at county expense because they're there to represent the child, and the child doesn't have any money, so the county ends up paying for it. Okay. And like I did with the other case, I will extend the immediate emergency orders so all of those orders stay in effect. And then I'll put this over to another date. But before I do that, let me ask Ms. Sullivan if you have any comment.
Nope.
Okay. So I'm going to put this over to April 13th for the next review.
Okay.
And hopefully by then we'll have the father served and then determine if we can enter the emergency minor guardianship order at that time.
We do have one change, Your Honor.
Okay.
My daughter, the other one that's here, Michelle, she moved into my house this morning. So she will be living with me and her son and my husband.
Okay.
And she has no problem with any of this, is why she told you nope. But
okay. There's a form called a consent form, and you could get that from the clerk's office. And what I would recommend is that you get a copy of that form and have Ms. Sullivan fill that out, so we have that filed in the case.
Okay.
And then we still need the father served before I can make any decisions.
Okay. And what was the name of that paper?
A consent.
Okay. A consent. Okay.
Also, if you think you need this guardianship to go on longer than 60 days, you need to file for a full guardianship.
I'm going to do that Monday morning.
Okay, good.
Yes,
Good.
I'm going to file. I'm going to go print the papers out, fill them out over the weekend.
Okay, great. All right, then we'll be back here April 13th at 10:30. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Just a minute.
Thank you.
Don't leave just yet.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm appointing a court visitor, but I didn't tell you who. So And we do this on a rotating basis. So that court visitor is going to be Mallory Smith. That's who actually you just heard from on the other case.
Okay.
Okay. And she will be contacting you to assist you with taking care of the service issues.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, the only service issues we had was it was so quick, and Foster Farms, where he works, they don't allow them to be served at work.
Okay.
So we can have you served by April 13th.
Okay, good. Ms. Smith, again, will be able to assist you with what you need to do to get that accomplished. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.